Something weird is happening. I've taken my iPad off flight mode to connect to the internet and post this. I've tried checking the news, but it seems different. I should be in Morocco by now. Actually, more than that. I think I should have checked into my hotel and be relaxing by the pool already. My watch has stopped working, so I could be wrong. But we've been flying for so long. To explain, I'm flying to Morocco for a holiday. My boyfriend, Lars, suggested we get some proper sun, and he'd seen a cheap deal online with some new airline where we could fly direct from Stockholm. We left our hometown of Umeå and spent the night before the flight with my sister and her family in their cramped city centre apartment. That should mean last night, but I feel like it was so long ago. We had an early flight, so it was still dark when we left for the airport. We had a light breakfast at the airport, but neither of us ate much. We were planning to continue sleeping on the flight to make up for the lack of sleep the night before. Everything went fine with the check-in and boarding. It was busy, but everyone looked sleepy, like us, just eager to get on the flight and get to some much-needed sunshine. It's been so cold in Sweden recently. Everyone just looked grey and worn down from what I can remember, although I wasn't studying them in my sleepy state. The plane is massive. I'm sorry I'm not a plane person, so I don't know what type it is. I have an uncle who's a geek for this stuff and could tell you the difference between an A something and an Airbus something. I don't listen, as you can tell. I just zone out because I don't care. All I know is that it's much bigger than the little planes I use to fly to nearby European countries. This plane has 2 aisles, that's how big it is. I'm used to the little planes with 3 seats on one side, an aisle, then 3 seats on the other side. It's pretty amazing to see one with an extra row of seats in the middle. Lars and I are in the middle row, so we can't see out of the windows at all. If I'd been by a window, maybe I'd have seen something, some change in the landscape, and could explain what's going on. I don't know how long we've been flying. The pilot hasn't made any announcements in ages. I read for maybe 30 minutes to relax before sleeping, while Lars just went straight to sleep. I feel like I slept for hours, but it's impossible to say. It was when I woke up and went to check the time that I saw my watch had stopped working. Lars woke up at pretty much exactly the same time as me, and asked if we were nearly there yet, as if I'm flying this thing. I sat up and looked around, and that's when I noticed everyone seemed to be doing the same as us. Waking up, looking around and remembering that they were on a plane. Looking at their watches and finding them broken. That was when I started feeling nervous. Why is every watch broken? I spoke to the young family behind us. They've stopped at different times. I don't know if that's comforting or not, but either way, the mood on board began changing, and people were looking scared. Nothing seemed obviously wrong. We were still flying, no turbulence. It's just that everyone had gone to sleep and woken up with a broken watch. I realized there are much more sinister things that can happen on a flight, but this is just weird. Shortly after we'd all woken up, the flight attendants came past with a trolley of drinks, but they just ignored everyone. They called out offering drinks as they went, and a few people tried to ask them the time and where we were on the journey, but they just brushed everyone off, saying they'd check, and kept smiling at us. I tried to put it to the back of my mind. Other passengers shook their heads or shrugged and began reading books and magazines. Bit of a weird thing, but no big deal. Don't they say that everything, no matter how improbable, can happen once just by pure coincidence? I had a selection of silly gossip magazines to keep me going for the journey. I read 1, then 2, then 3. I went back and read some of the articles I had skipped over. Seeing as I'm stuck on a plane, I may as well read about some model I've never heard of and her latest divorce. anything to pass the time. By the time I'd read all my magazines and already had that first sleep when we got on, I was thinking we had to be nearly there. But nothing was happening. No announcements, no seatbelt signs to get us ready for landing. We just keep going. I borrowed a book from Lars that he was bringing to read by the pool. I'm not that interested in crime dramas, but I was so bored I would read anything. I kept reading and reading. I kept seeing people glance up nervously and look around for the stewards, but getting nothing. Everyone seems a bit on edge. And we just keep flying. No announcements, no turbulence, just endless flying. The reason I've started writing this is that things have started to change again. Specifically, the light has changed. We left in the morning and are flying south in a journey that should only take us a little over 5 hours. But about 10 minutes ago, the sun set. I know now that means we've been flying for much longer than we should. I must have slept for hours. The father of the family behind me is up, banging on the door to the cockpit. He's screaming at them to tell us what's going on. No one is stopping him. The flight attendants are just looking neutral, like nothing unusual is happening. Some passengers are looking the same, like they've zoned out. Others are crying. I'm not sure what to do. There's nothing I can do. We just keep flying. It's getting darker, but it's not just night sky darkness. It's like there are thick black clouds outside the windows on each side, blotting out any light from the sun or moon, whatever time it is. It's like when a storm is coming and everything gets dark and quiet. People are just sitting in their seats, staring forward like they're having an out-of-body experience. I guess it could be a coping mechanism, but so many are doing it. Even Lars has lost his energy and is just sitting next to me looking like he's resigned himself to some awful fate. He's just staring at the tray table. I just fell asleep again. I didn't even feel tired. I was awake 1 minute and the next I was snapping awake. And it's even darker now. The clouds outside are darker. Less like storm clouds. More like smoke clouds. I remember when there was a fire at a factory in the outskirts of town once, and everyone in my office block watched from the windows as the black smoke billowed up on the horizon. That's what it looks like outside the windows now. I've tried looking online to see if there's any news, but when I go to the news sites it's all scrambled. Instead of familiar words I can just see symbols. I tried to check Facebook, but it seems to be showing only old posts like silly photo albums from parties at school and the first year of university are all showing as just posted. More people are falling asleep again. And I've just noticed something else. There are fewer people here. There are a few empty seats dotted throughout the plane that I'm sure were filled earlier. They can't all be in the bathroom. I can't see any stewards either. The man from the seat behind me isn't there, but he isn't still banging on the door to the cockpit. I guess he could have been escorted somewhere like the back of the plane to calm down. I'm trying to come up with rational explanations, but I'm so scared now. Shit. The pilot has started making an announcement. Ladies and gentlemen, this is your captain speaking. Apologies for the delay to your flight caused by unexpected pit stops. What's he talking about? We have not stopped once. I've just looked around to see if anyone else is looking confused, but everyone is either asleep or just there. Like they're here physically, but they're dead-eyed and silent, like dolls. We are now approaching your final stop and hope that you enjoy your stay. Good luck, Josephine. What? I just turned to Lars to ask if he heard that too. The pilot just fucking spoke to me. but he's different. I don't know what it is. He was already quiet like the others, but I've just noticed something that I hadn't spotted before. Oh God. Now I've just realized what has seemed off about the other passengers. Something subtle has been changing in them. But I don't know their faces so well, so I didn't see it until it started to happen to Lars. His face. It's becoming less him and I don't know. It's like his features are generic. I don't know, everyone looks really similar. Like all the unique things about Lars have been dialed down. That bump on his nose from rugby is less pronounced. His freckles are gone. Even his hair looks tidier. And that spark in his eyes, it's gone. Like a dummy. I tried shaking him, but he just looks back vacantly. Like a stranger. A stranger on some strong sedatives. The plane is silent. I've stopped shaking Lars because even the sounds I'm making trying to quietly reason with him and make him speak to me are just making the plane seem even quieter. Like being a loud person in a church. I just feel such dread. And I don't want to draw any attention on myself. I'm the only one reacting. Or moving. I feel like I'm alone. There are more empty seats now. I don't even see people getting up from their seats. Where are they going? Guys, it's been so long up here. We're still flying. No signs of starting to descend. No let up from the blackness outside. Just a silent plane going around the dark skies. I don't know how long we've been going. I have no way of telling anymore. If you can read this, please check the news. Please see if you can see any stories about a flight that hasn't arrived, due into Marrakesh on the 16th of March 2012, which must be at least 2 days ago by this point. But who knows anymore? I'm starting to feel sleepy again. Hopefully when I wake up, we'll have landed.